Hi guys, and welcome to another edition of the General Jerry channel. Before we get into the Raw pre-show, which will be kind of separate from this, I'll do the introduction in this video later on. But I was actually just listening to Chris Moyles, and I just learnt about the news about David Bowie, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about him before we get into this Raw preview. And for anyone who knows me personally, I'm a massive David Bowie fan. Not just his music, but his individuality. I've always been one of those people that looks up to people that doesn't follow the status quo, that goes down their own road, that has their own individuality, doesn't really care what society portrays them as, and just do what they do best, and that is make music that they enjoy. And that's why I'm a massive David Bowie fan. I'm actually even a big Nirvana fan as well. You know, I love music that doesn't play up to the status quo. I was a big fan of his. You know, obviously you've just heard Ashes to Ashes, a great song. Another great song is Life on Mars as well. I love that song as well. It wasn't just his music, you know, he was a great actor. If you haven't checked any of his movies, definitely check them out. They're absolutely amazing. And yeah, I was shocked at the news. I was just listening to Chris Moyles. Chris Moyles, you know, a radio DJ here. He was on Radio X, and I just heard the news, and I was like, holy shit. And I flicked on the news, and it turned out to be true that unfortunately he died of cancer. And one of the things that, like, you know, David Bowie did was inspire a lot of people, not just in the music industry or the you know, the acting industry or in the arts, but he also inspired me as a YouTuber, because I've always had this philosophy of I don't want to follow just a crowd. I want to be my own individual person. I want to make videos that are not just following the top trends. Someone that I wanted, you know, I wanted to portray a person that has never been seen before. And, you know, David Bowie, you know, whenever he made music for himself, which was, you know, amazing, because, you know, a lot of people would say, oh, there was a few albums that weren't successful or whatever, but David Bowie did music because he wanted to challenge himself. He always wanted to challenge himself. He always wanted to push himself. In fact, one of my most favorite quotes, I'll see if I can get it up here right now. One of my most favorite quotes from him right now is, "You can neither win nor lose if you don't run the race." And I've always lived by that philosophy of, essentially, you know, if you're not in the race, you can't win and you can't lose. You know, the worst thing in the world is not doing anything. And, you know, I've always lived by that philosophy. And his individuality, the way he dressed was totally different, especially at that time. People were like, oh my god, but he wasn't doing it for other people, he was doing it for himself, and to essentially be an individual person, which is something that is severely lacking in this generation. there's a whole lot that this generation can learn of from the past generation, because I've seen people that they follow other people blindly, and David Bowie was the definition of someone that was an individuality, not to follow the latest trend, not to see what the next t-shirt that's available. He did things his way, and that's what separated himself from the masses. In fact, his last album, the music video actually came out 2 days ago, and I was enjoying it, and I was like, you know, I can't wait to see what other music videos are going to come out of this. And unfortunately, he passed away. His album, it only just came out a few weeks ago, and you know, for someone that was battling cancer, I believe, for like 18 months, for him to still make music is amazing. There are very few people that can make great music in their late years. Only person that really comes to mind is Johnny Cash. A lot of you will know Johnny Cash. The album he did before he died, holy shit, was amazing. Like, that Hurt song is just, it's an amazing song, and that kind of what separated himself from the masses, for David Bowie, because he was not only an influence in music and in arts and in acting, he was also an influence on a guy from Belfast uploading videos about professional wrestling. That's how much of an influence he was, because he encouraged people to don't do what other people are doing, do what you do. Whether you feel or not, just do it, you know. Just focus on what your creative mindset is, and, you know, it's just art form itself is more of an individual person. It's not what you perceive as, oh, I want to be like those people. It's your own individuality. You can't change art, and you can't change music influence around other people. But David Bowie, he was an individual person, and that was absolutely fantastic of what he did. And a major influence. And he will be sorely missed. He will be absolutely missed. I've seen a few tweets out from Ricky Gervais and as well as many others, and that's how much of an influence he had over me. You know, to think that David Bowie would have an influence over a guy just talking about professional wrestling, uploading videos on YouTube, you know, but that's how how much of an influence he was. And, you know, it's definitely something that us as human beings, especially in today's society, can learn from him, as someone that you have to stay true to yourself, and that's what he did. And that's really all I gotta say about it. We'll move forward with the Raw pre-show, and once again, my condolences go out to David Bowie's family, and David, you will be sorely missed. Hi guys, and welcome to another edition of the General Jerry channel. As you previously seen in my tribute to David Bowie, I was going to put on a separate video, but I decided just to add it into this here, you know. But anyway, guys, let us continue on with your Raw 5-point preview. This is for January the 11th, which is today. The big news right now is that Brock Lesnar will be at Raw right now. It is confirmed that the Beast Incarnate will be at Raw. Rumors are now saying that he will be in the Royal Rumble. He's coming less than 2 weeks before the 2016 Royal Rumble event. Brock Lesnar is re-emerging on Raw in New Orleans, the same city the Beast Incarnate made history by ending the Undertaker's undefeated WrestleMania streak. What awaits as the shadow looms over Raw? WWE.com has its theories. I think right now there's two choices. One is Sheamus. I think him and Sheamus had a really good match. I actually did watch it. It was actually recorded in the audience. I think the two of them definitely did very well in that match, especially Sheamus. I was very surprised, but it shouldn't really surprise you because Brock Lesnar and Sheamus, they have a brawling style, and it does best suit them, which is something that I think is needed in the WWE. You know, two brawlers just going at it. The big one, the Beast is back. Brock Lesnar never returns less. He means business. And as for the WWE Universe prepares for his beginning to the road to WrestleMania, it's clear something or someone draws the Beast Incarnate to Monday Night Raw. Perhaps there's a symbolic importance to Lesnar's appearance in New Orleans. This is where he conquered the Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania 30. Or perhaps Lesnar's return is tied directly to Mr. McMahon's bombshell announcement last week that Roman Reigns will defend the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against 29 other superstars in the 2016 Royal Rumble match. I think it's safe to say, I mean, with them saying that, I think it's safe to say Lesnar's going to be in the Royal Rumble. If he's going to face Sheamus, you know, alright, you know, but honestly though, if Lesnar's in the Royal Rumble, Roman may kiss his title goodbye because Brock is going to throw a lot of people over that top rope. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens. You know, I think Brock, if he is in the Royal Rumble, I think he should win it. I think he will win it. Although I want Roman to keep the title for a bit. It'd be pretty interesting to see what happens. I think this Raw, there will be significant things that are going to happen to it. I think the middle of Raw is going to suck, but I think the start and the ending of it, especially with Brock Lesnar is concerned, it's going to be very interesting because he will have a key part. Whether he's going to be against The Rock, you know, there's been rumors that him and The Rock are going to be at it. There's been rumors that him and The Undertaker might have a confrontation. I doubt it. And obviously the big one is him and Roman Reigns. I think if they are going to have Roman Reigns compete against someone, I think Brock Lesnar is the obvious answer. I think Brock should compete against Roman Reigns for the main event at WrestleMania and have Roman go over and beat Brock Lesnar. I think that is exactly what needs to happen. Regardless, Lesnar does come this week on Raw. We will find out what his decision will be at that point. The fight for Reigns is live, as I'm sure you're all aware. Roman Reigns will be having to compete against 29 others in the Royal Rumble. It was announced last week by Vinnie Mac himself that he will have to compete. And for the first time, I believe, since 1992, the title will be on the line in the Royal Rumble match. This has never been seen before. I was 2 years old whenever that title was on the line in Royal Rumble, so this is a first for me. You know, I thought the firsts for wrestling were long gone, but nah, you know, I get to see the title on the line on a Royal Rumble, which is very interesting. You know, I'm sure Jeffrey Rose or Wrestling Jesus or Gemini, those old school guys, might remember what went down back then, but I've never been present during a title match in a Royal Rumble, and it's definitely something that WWE might keep an eye on. Reports were saying that if this is successful, they might actually change the Royal Rumble to a title match in the upcoming WrestleManias, which I think is definitely a smart decision, because first of all, they've done away with the Elimination Chamber. It's now called Fastlane. Fuck's sake, Fastlane. But honestly, I think if they are going to do this, from now on, I think it's a smart decision, because a lot of people were invested in the Elimination Chamber, because, you never knew who was going to win it, you know what I mean? But with Roman, it's hit and miss. I think the only factor is if Brock Lesnar does make a decision that he's going to be in the Royal Rumble, then I think Reigns is pretty much fucked. He could hold his own. I mean, he held his own at WrestleMania, but the difference is, though, ladies and gentlemen, it's Brock freaking Lesnar, you know what I mean? And don't forget, Lesnar's won a Royal Rumble match before, so, let's get into your next point right now. Is a US title match in Kalisto's future? Thursday night on SmackDown, John Cena announced that Kalisto was United States Champion, Alberto Del Rio's opponent, and after the Excellence refused to put his title on the line, the Luchador Dragon scored an upset victory over the League of Nations member. Following the non-title match over Del Rio, perhaps the biggest accomplishment in his career thus far is the Masked Marvel in line for a US title opportunity. Keep an eye out for this. There's a possibility that he could very well win the United States Championship match. I believe what they're trying to do is have Kalisto as another Rey Mysterio. I've said this whenever, the first time I seen this guy, I knew they're going to make him a Rey Mysterio 2.0. However, he's going to have to make his own individuality. He can't just be another Rey Mysterio knockoff. He's got to do different things. Now, I will say this, he is a fantastic wrestler. Definitely the best high flyer in the WWE right now. Because he actually does moves that we've never seen before. Most of these high flyers now, they do the kick from the top rope and your basic kicks and shit like that. But this guy goes all out, you know what I mean? Kalisto is definitely a guy that people can rally behind. And I actually believe that, he could very well win the United States Championship. Keep an eye out for him. There's a strong possibility that they make him the new Rey Mysterio, which would be very interesting. If Rey does come back, it'll be pretty interesting in a match between those two. It was supposed to be the original Sin Cara, and that never happened. Carnage continues between Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens. They held nothing back on SmackDown, however, it was a fucking count out, which was ridiculous. But something tells us this battle will continue on Raw. Possibility of the title on the line on this as well. I doubt it, but it does look likely that Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens might indeed have a match at the Royal Rumble in some shape or form. Keep an eye out for Dean. He's not a favourite to win the Royal Rumble, but if he does drop the title, in the next few weeks to Kevin Owens, which I don't know if they'll do or not, but if they do, keep an eye out for Dean, especially in the Royal Rumble. He could be, a wild card, especially in this Royal Rumble match, if he is in it. Will Becky Lynch get payback against the Fleurs? Becky Lynch is obviously doing a feud with Ric Flair that nobody gives a shit about. Charlotte has literally become a Ric Flair 2.0. There's no individuality with her. Her figure 8 lock is amazing, but, other than that, she's acting like Rick, she's talking like Rick, she's doing the woo like Rick. It's a complete joke. And also, these two have a rivalry, yet they faced each other about 6 times already on Raw. It's completely ridiculous. But that is your, preview right now. Let's get into some of the news right now. If there is any news, I doubt it this early in the morning. I think everyone's still shocked about the David Bowie incident that happened. Kevin Owens challenges The Undertaker for WrestleMania 32. WWE is considering Owens versus Taker. Brock Lesnar WWE Raw return angle is with Roman Reigns tonight. That is the rumor right now. Also, reports are saying that Randy Orton hits out at neck surgery rumors as well. Apparently he's not very happy about that. WWE teasing Kalisto versus Alberto Del Rio. Possibility of a US title match on the line. And and also TNA signed a UK star to the roster as well. Bella Club looking more likely WWE files new trademark request as well. we could possibly... I don't know if they're going to show up tonight. I doubt it. If they do, holy shit, it would be amazing. But yeah, we'll obviously have to wait and see on that. So that is your news for today. Guys, let me know in the comments below what you think. This is General Jerry on the General Jerry channel. Signing out.